welcome to Punish for Protecting. This is Coffee Talk with myself, Francesca, and my co-host, Corinne.
Hi everybody, good afternoon.
Today we are at a very special place, Java Joe's Coffee Bar, and this place is in Monroe, New York. It's actually 30 Mill Pond Parkway in Monroe, New York. And I highly recommend this wonderful cafe. If you are a coffee lover, it is absolutely beautiful here. And they also have an adorable little gift shop with all kinds of goodies, jewelry and clothing, and I just highly recommend you guys coming down here. I've been here now a few times because today I was interviewed on Bill Lemansky's book talk, and my sister was interviewed a few weeks ago, and so I've been frequenting this little cafe, and now we're going to be doing our coffee talk here several times a month. So today Corinne is with me, and she's going to talk a little bit about parental alienation.
Today is April 25th, and today is recognized nationally as Parental Alienation Awareness Day. Parental alienation is the process and the result of psychological manipulation of a child into showing unwanted and unwarranted fear, disrespect, and hostility towards a parent and other family members. And most often, this is found during a hostile and contentious divorce. And this is very unfortunate for children because they are usually put in the middle, and actually always are put in the middle. This is usually found with narcissistic parents, and it's also found with another syndrome. I wouldn't call it a syndrome, but it's domestic violence by proxy, which is something that people need to look into. It's abuse. It's child abuse, and what the parent does, it takes the targeted parent, and they remove the child from the targeted parent's life. And they tell the child that the parent no longer loves them, they don't want anything to do with them, they remove all contact from that child. And they brainwash, for a lack of better terms, the child into believing that that parent no longer loves them, no longer wants them, that they abandoned them, and that they slowly erase them from their lives. And they will also, they're actually known for taking legal documents, which are not real documents, and they falsify them and they present them to schools and to doctors, and they say that there is a no contact form. Well, let me inform you of something. There is nothing in the legal contents in the United States of America. There are no legal documents existing as a no contact form. Even if you have your parental rights terminated, there's still no such thing as a no contact form. Mm-hmm. So what the alienator does is they will go to the schools, they will go to the doctor's offices, they will go to anything that the child is involved with, and they will remove them as guardianship, and they will put their paramour or a grandparent, and they will remove them and put the paramour or grandparent as legal guardian, and they will slowly erase the targeted parent from the child's life. And what they are doing is they are emotionally and mentally abusing that child. And the only way that this can be resolved is to put that targeted parent back into the child's life. Because most often, the targeted parent is a loving and fit parent who only wants best for their child. And I have said this, and I'll say it again. It takes two to make that child, and it takes two to raise that child. And co-parenting is the way to go. And as long as both parents are found fit and proper, there's no reason why both parents shouldn't be able to raise that child. Today, in honor of Parental Alienation Awareness Day, I would like everyone to take a moment, and if you have your child, I want you to hug that child and show them how much you love them. Because being alienated from a child is equivalent to death to a mother, a father, and the alienated child. They wake up every day and they don't know where their child is. They don't know if their child is hungry, sick, tired, crying, if the child thinks that they've been abandoned. if the child thinks that they no longer love them, if the child thinks that they are dead, if the child thinks that they hate them. And then the parent wakes up every day walking by their bedroom door and looking at all of their things because they can't speak to that child. They can't see that child. They're not allowed to participate in the school activities because the alienator has handed in legal documents, forged, falsified legal documents stating that they are no longer in that child's life. For handing false documents saying that they have full, sole legal custody, when in fact they don't. They're not allowed to participate in any of the doctor appointments, when in fact they are. They're allowed. And our judicial system is no help with this, because what they do is they allow the alienated parent to keep going. And this is what we call kangaroo court. Because when you go into that court system, they give the alienator, the domestic violence by proxy, the narcissist, the power to keep on doing that. And what they do is they financially drain them until they're no longer allowed to fight anymore. And that's not right. And there's so many parents today who haven't seen their children in weeks, months, and years. I know people that haven't seen their children in 10 years. Can you imagine how that feels? There's plenty of you out there who see your children every day. And I'm sure that there's times that you think, God, I need a break. God, I could use a vacation. Calgon, take me away. Right? But imagine not seeing your child for a week. Imagine not seeing your child for months. In my own case, my husband picked up my sons, and I never saw them again for 8 long months. He blocked me from his cell phone. They're 2 and 5. They don't know how to use a cell phone, and they had no access to a phone. I had no idea what my sons were told, what they thought, what was going on, and I couldn't afford proper representation. And my husband was going around telling everybody, well, she's not filing anything, so obviously she doesn't want them. Obviously she doesn't care. And when I was finally able to find representation, I had gone to the representative of Pennsylvania, and he found an attorney for me that would work with me on my finances, because the judge admonished my alimony, because my husband told him that all I do is sit around all day and collect money, when that's what alimony is not set up for. It's set up to give you equal footing so you can live the way you were when you were married. My husband makes over $300,000 a year, and they took it down a couple $1,000s so that I couldn't even pay my rent, and I've become homeless because of this. My husband took both family cars, and the judge allowed this. You tell me, if you've been stripped of your children, your car, your home, what are you going to do? Are you going to go out and find a job? I spent every waking moment of my time, just as all of you other alienated parents, fighting and trying to find a way to get my sons back. And that's how I become an advocate. And that's how I become doing what I do, fighting the good fight, studying the law, and learning what my rights are. And that's what all of you other parents I know are doing out there. Parental alienation is abuse, and it's not right, and it has to stop. And it is now starting to be recognized in the courtroom. Whereas before, it was a tactic used by the abusers to try to get custody of the children, and it was working. So then they stopped recognizing it in the courtroom. And I'm happy to say in the county of Berks, there actually was a parental alienation conference held. And my judge was at that conference, and he was engaged, and he took notes. And Your Honor, I hope that you do what's best in my case. And I hope that other judges will learn to do what's best in that case. Because parental alienation is an extenuation of domestic violence. And most people are afraid to say what's going on, especially the children. My son told me he's afraid to go to school and tell the teacher that he wants to live with me because my daddy will go in and make up lies. Because he took me into school, Mama, and he told lies. And this is what the abuser does. They put the fear of God in those children. If you tell the truth, this is what's going to happen. It might not be physical abuse, but it's emotional, mental, and verbal.
I want to ask you a question, Corinne.
Yes.
I want to ask you several questions, actually.
Mm-hmm.
First of all,
Do you also feel that, and I agree 100% with the parental alienation and child alienation from one another, these judges should be held accountable for allowing this abuse to families and children?
Yes, absolutely. Because when I hadn't seen my sons for 8 months, I asked to see them and I asked for phone calls, and the judge's retort to that was, well, obviously she didn't care because she didn't file anything. And as I stated, I couldn't afford representation. I couldn't afford anything, and this is before I knew that I could be a pro se litigant. And actually, I read an article in the Reading Eagle that was written on my judge, and he said that he doesn't like when people go pro se litigant because it's a waste of his time because they don't know the law. So had I gone pro se litigant, he would have eaten me up in court anyway, because even when I have an attorney, he eats me up and he doesn't follow the law. He actually tells my husband's attorney when he should object to something. He said, don't you want to object to that? You should object to that.
Which is illegal. Which a judge is not supposed to do
no,
that.
That's a violation of a canon.
Mm-hmm.
He allows hearsay in the courtroom all the time. My husband has sat on the stand and he has perjured himself multiple times, and it's all hearsay, and there's never once been a witness, never once. He's never had pictures, he's never had evidence, he's never had grounds, and there's never been a witness one time to testify on his behalf, and the judge has allowed that.
So in your case, you were married, or you still are in fact married.
Yes, I am married.
You were married for how many years? Or aren't?
8 years.
8 years.
Yes.
And how old are your boys?
2 and 5.
2 and 5.
Yes.
So several years into your marriage, you finally get pregnant and you have these boys.
Right.
And and things were going so somewhat smooth, other than other issues that were happening.
Yes.
That you were unaware of and then you found out. However, was he married before?
Yes, I'm his second wife.
Were you married before?
No.
Did he bring children into this marriage from the previous relationship?
Yes, 3.
3 children. Who raised them while you were married to him?
I did.
You raised him, and how did that go?
I mean, it was fine. It was trying at times, but that's what I wanted to do. I was going to school to be a respiratory therapist, and I worked at a day spa at the same time. And his youngest at the time is autistic and epileptic, and her seizures had become so bad. I used to take my cell phone with me to the gym, and I used to take it to college with me. And I used to have to leave class and leave the gym to go pick her up from school because her seizures were very bad at that time. And we, made this decision. He had asked me to drop out of college and quit my job to stay home to raise his youngest because he was working. And, as his wife, I felt as though that was my duty. And I wanted to do it. I love staying home and being a wife and being a stay-at-home mom. And I love his little girl. I mean, she calls me mama, or she did rather when we were together. And I did that 2 years before we were able to have our own children. And my husband had a vasectomy when he was with his first wife, and he had a vasectomy reversal so that we could get pregnant with our own sons. So they were very much planned. And I took all 3 of his children to school every day. I picked them up from school every day. His 2 older children were in sports. His oldest daughter was in field hockey. His son was in baseball. I have a daughter as well, and she was in field hockey, and she went to a different school district at that time, and I didn't want to take her out of that school district. So I would drive all the way out of their school district. After I took his kids to school, I drove to another school district to take my daughter to school, and then after school, I would come home and I would make supper and I would feed everybody, and then I would pick up my daughter from field hockey. Then I would drive out to field hockey to pick up his daughter, and I packed dinner so that she had a hot dinner because she had to sit through my daughter's field hockey practice. So she would sit there in my car and have a hot dinner with dessert and drinks so that she was taken care of. And I always made sure that everybody had dinner before they went to their practice.
So here's a very good question then. Does this judge know this about the dynamics of how your family was run for those 8 years, with his family and your family merged under one roof?
No.
So did you feel that you had a fair share in the courtroom to be able to, you just explained this to me in less than 2 minutes.
Yes.
Okay? In less than 2 minutes, an entire family could be fixed. Instead, we see the chaos that this judge has caused. Judge, I have to put it on the judge.
Yes.
Because when a person comes into a court and lies under oath, it is the duty and the due diligence and the ethical, proper practice for the judge to do what we just did here. Find out about the dynamic of the family. Did you feel like that got...
Absolutely. My husband got on the stand and he said sometimes she cooked.
What is
Rarely
that?
ever.
Okay, and even if you didn't or did cook, okay? Even if you didn't or did cook, that warrants having your children that you had in your womb carried for 9 months each, taken away from you. Now, one of the accusations, is that you're a drug addict.
Yes.
Suddenly. So he allowed a drug addict to raise his children, your mutual children, and his first wife and his children.
Yes.
For 8 years. You were fined for 8 years.
For 8 years, and now...
Does the judge know this?
I
mean...
and what I don't understand is he fought his first wife 11 years in court. Over $95,000 in court fees. And we had the same judge.
That was my next question.
Same judge. And his allegations with that wife was that she was an alcoholic.
Oh, wow.
And he said that
you all become drug addicts and alcoholics
after the fact, yes. After the fact. There's
overnight.
There's always something wrong with us. And he said that she was borderline personality disorder.
So he diagnosed her.
He diagnosed her.
Who? The judge or
no,
Dan?
My husband. Yes, Dan. And
So he has a
PhD.
He's a medical doctor.
He's a medical doctor, Dr. Dan. And
we're being sarcastic.
Yes. He, for some reason...
This is where the diamond and silk part comes in.
That's right. Cheers to that. For some reason, he was saving his Google searches, and he put them on my laptop. He bought me this laptop, and he built it. So he can track everything I do. And I've had the police pull him off of my laptop, and it's been tracked, it's been documented, that it says fetherolfdan@gmail.com. He's been on my laptop, and he keeps putting these little things on there, and I have the reports. But he put his Google searches on a zip file on my computer. And he admitted, because he was searching porn more times than I can even tell you. But throughout our marriage, I could see how many times he Googled borderline personality symptoms, mental disorders, this, that, and the other thing.
So does he have a history of Munchausen by proxy? Just curious.
He accused his first
wife.
wife.
Did I just diagnose? I'm so
You did.
sorry.
Don't do that. He accused his first wife of having that.
I'm asking.
Well, then he accused me of that.
I didn't write up an order.
My son had a febrile seizure this summer, and his girlfriend, pregnant fiance, is a physician's assistant, and they both diagnosed me as having.
Did you just say fiance?
I did. Yes. And
did you just say you're not divorced?
No, I'm still married, and he is engaged.
The judge is aware of this?
Yes.
The judge is aware of this?
Oh, yeah. You know what the judge told?
So character no longer has any standing in a court?
No, the judge said it was okay that when he left me abandoned in Rehoboth, and I couldn't get home, and the reason I didn't go home is because he brought another woman in my house, and my 4-year-old son walked in on them in bed, and the judge said, my lawyer said, well, the reason she didn't come home, Your Honor, is because he had another woman in the house. And the judge said, blamed me that I didn't come home for my sons. I couldn't because he had another woman in the house. What was I supposed to say? Hey, move over, make room for me in the bed?
Well, this particular judge may personally like that.
He must, because he said to me, so my lawyer said, so it's okay for her husband to have a barrage of women in the house. And he goes, that doesn't matter. That's what he said. And I have the transcripts. He said it doesn't matter. So apparently it's okay for my husband to...
Well, I mean, the judge obviously has no comprehension of domestic violence or any of the dynamics surrounding domestic violence, because when you are a victim of domestic violence and you're controlled and you're told where to go, what to do, when to do it, this judge... I
had to show receipts one time I came back from the grocery store because my husband was constantly accusing me of having an affair. I had 2 PFAs against my husband. And the second PFA, my husband sexually assaulted me. And the judge told me that if I wanted custody of my sons, that I better drop it.
They see that all the time.
And so what do you think I did? It's no brainer. I mean, not that what he did was right, but it's my husband. It wasn't a stranger. I wanted custody of my kids, so I dropped it. So now there's no paper trail. But if you look up my name in the system, it says domestic violence victim. But the judge doesn't...
I think that there needs to be explicit amount of training when it comes to domestic violence by proxy. And I know that, obviously we know that ADA, I'm sorry, not ADA, the ACEs research has been proven, and not just proven, but it's the largest medical study ever conducted by the Department of Justice.
Yeah.
And yet it's not used in the court where it should be used. No one is properly trained. And these are all forms of abuse. All of this are forms of abuse. When a person is a victim, they're re-victimized over and over. They're re-victimized by co-advocates many times.
They're re-victimized by the judge.
By the judge, clearly. And personally, I feel that it all should fall on the judge, because the judge is the one rendering the orders that are causing the alienation in the first place.
Yeah, and like domestic violence by proxy is exactly what my husband is doing. He is manipulating and using the system to still be able to have control and manipulate and abuse me. He is using my children as pawns, and he knows that I don't care about the money. He knows that I don't care about...
Well, you don't care about the money, but you have been literally left, and this is a very good point.
Yeah.
You have been left homeless,
Yep.
carless, penniless, and the worst, which is childless. Totally controlled. This judge, Bucci, is allowing all
of this to happen. I am homeless at the hands of the judge.
And then uses that. So this is another form of re-victimization, because then uses it against you and calls you transient.
And he put it on the record.
But wait a second, you're still this man's wife, and his indiscretions is what ended the marriage.
Correct.
And there may have been other issues in the marriage. There may have been personality things between the two of you. I don't know what the other things are. Hey, you might not have gotten along. I don't think I'd get along with somebody that was constantly cheating on me.
He was a drug addict.
Okay.
And he's still, but and people get divorced. And I tried explaining this to him before. I said, you know what? It doesn't matter, what you did is what you did, and I forgive you. But it doesn't, people get divorced. And it doesn't mean that something has to be wrong with me. And I don't have to go around telling everybody, hey, you did this, you did that. Like, let's just say that we decided, like when...
they split up.
Yeah, like when famous people make a public,
Right.
we've decided that we, have, we still love each other as parents, and we've decided to split up.
And then they do the best thing.
And then we do the best thing for the best interest of our children. But instead, he decides to go and publicly, smash me. And anybody has 2 ears, he saw my son's godparents. He saw the grandmother at school picking up the daughter, my son's godparents' daughter, and she pretended that she didn't know what was going on, and she said, oh, hey Dan, how are you and Corinne doing? And he goes, oh, we're getting divorced, and she's a mess. She's an alcoholic and a drug addict and a meth head and da-da-da-da-da.
Now, why is this permitted in the court, first of all? Why is this hearsay? These false allegations. Now, this would be genuine as any attorney, libel and slander.
That's libel and slander.
There's no question about
that.
There's
no question about it.
You can tell the truth about, you're telling the truth about your personal case and what's going on. However, all this other stuff, has the judge allowed that in the court?
Yes.
Now, he can't
can I tell you, when I'm on the stand, they'll ask me a question, and I try to get in as much on the record as I can. And the judge will say, slash that from the record. Scratch it from the record. I believe this was a yes or no question.
Right.
But then my husband, who's going for the Daytime Emmy Award, pretends that, oh my God, he pretends that he's crying.
I have here in this book, I have my quote unquote trial, which was already preset before I walked in.
Oh yeah,
I should have just put the handcuffs on me when I walked in myself, personally.
Yeah.
But I have the transcripts here. I mean, I did such a fine job of answering him. Like, it's going to be an Emmy. Like, seriously, Lifetime Movie Network is looking at this as we speak. But the thing is that I'm so proud of myself how I answered. But that's exactly what happened in my kangaroo trial. Everything that I said was scratched from the record. It's on transcripts. That's why I made sure I said it. But anything that they wanted to ask me, and as they went wink, wink, nod, nod to each other, it's all pre-planned.
I thought they already know.
To torture you.
Absolutely.
But who are they doing it to?
My children. My children, exactly. My husband got up on the stand and he said that I'm buying opiates in the parking lot of Walmart.
I can see how you're shaking right now.
I know, I'm twitching. I'm jonesing. I had to ask my lawyer, I go, what's an opiate?
I would do that
I go, what's an opiate?
I never did a drug in my life.
And then he said that I'm shooting up
I know, I see the marks.
Yeah, can you see my track
Yeah,
marks?
oh my goodness.
Yeah, he said that I'm shooting up methamphetamines. Then he said that I left my sons in the tub
Yeah.
with the water running and forgot about them.
Right, but now hold on. Let's hold on to that for a minute. Were the police called? Was the ambulance called?
Well, I got one better for you.
Wait, let's just wait. Where's the record of this?
Well,
Wait, don't children drown in water? I mean, little kids.
Where is my husband? Let me tell you something. When my youngest son was born,
And yet the judge allowed this.
yes, he kept going, and my husband was going pretending he was crying, and then he was leaning over the witness stand, looking at my lawyer, and this was allowed. Now let's think about this rationally. When my youngest son was 2 or 3 months old, I moved down to Rehoboth Beach, Delaware, and my oldest son was 4. How can they take
Oldest is 4, youngest is
2 or 3 months old?
Yeah.
They can't take a bath together.
First of all, a 2 to 3 month old left in water would not be here for several minutes. Would be gone.
Well, first of all,
The
he said that I
ambulance
left
and
them in
the
the
police would
tub.
be called.
I left them in the
There
tub
you go.
together with the water running. Okay, when
so
you
a 4-year-old was watching an infant, and the infant didn't drown.
but the older one was in the tub too.
I understand that. I'm
But
just saying.
how did you? They
we
can't
had a
take.
baby drown.
You
not
can't
that long
take. You
ago.
can't put them in the bath together because one's in an infant tub
Absolutely.
and the other one's in a. And first of all, I lived in Rehoboth by myself.
Mhm.
Okay, so are you insinuating that happened in Rehoboth? Where were you?
Well, where were
And then when he left me homeless. It must be from my drugs. When I moved back to Pennsylvania.
Can you go to the needle, please?
Yes, please. Where's my needle? When I moved back to Pennsylvania, I had my own house. Okay?
Yeah.
And still they weren't old enough to take a bath together till the younger one was over a year old. And he didn't live with me. So do you have pictures?
Right.
How do you know?
Where's the evidence?
Where's the evidence?
These courts are supposed to be
That's hearsay.
evidence. All
Where's the
evidence.
witnesses? Who said that I left my sons in the bath running with water running and I forgot about them?
Yeah.
Wouldn't my house be overflowed? Did the ambulance get called?
There you
I
go.
believe they're still alive.
Right.
My son has diarrhea of the mouth. I'm pretty sure he would have said.
Here's the one that got me. This is the one that we literally probably have a lifetime of jokes on this one. He's definitely provided us with a lifetime of jokes on this one. You believe
Oh yes,
that
that's my
you're
favorite.
a superhero.
Dun, dun, dun.
Now, first of all, we are superheroes, okay? I don't know why anybody would even bring that up.
I mean, duh.
But we did, as you all know, we did, and we have posters being made, and we've done the Punish for Protecting Justice League, which everybody's dressed up as superheroes, but the kids know that they're superheroes. We're there fighting for them throughout this horrific court system, child predator services, and but they actually said you believe you are.
Yes, and they court ordered me into psychological therapy because I don't know the difference between what's real and what's not because I think I'm a superhero. All right, let me just put something out there for you. My son thinks he's the Flash. He really thinks he's the Flash because he likes superhero. And he has since he was, he had a superhero birthday party when we lived
So
in.
did you come in as the superhero you are to this party?
I was Batmom.
Okay.
Okay? I was Batmom. And I can show you the video. I decorated, while everyone slept, including my husband, I decorated our entire beach house with superheroes. The whole.
What moms
Batman.
do.
Well, not me, I'm a bad mom.
Right.
Facetiously speaking, okay, Dan? So, what kids look up to superheroes. The reason that we did this is because
look at the whole world right now. Everything is superhero.
yeah, and actually there's a hospital that is they're making pajamas for children made to look like
Underoos.
yes.
I've got
I'm
them
gonna
on.
say something. I'm just gonna keep it to myself.
Underoos are fun to wear.
You said underwear. Kids look up to superheroes, and the reason that we did this is because there's a lot of children right now that are looking, like today, Parental Alienation Awareness Day. I can't say it enough. They're wanting to know who's gonna save me, who's gonna bring me home to my mommy and daddy, who's gonna bring me home to my granny, who's gonna bring me to whomever that they're wanting.
Do they love me?
Yeah, and they need to know that somebody's gonna save them. So we dress up like superheroes. Do I think that I'm a superhero? Okay, first off, let me tell you something. That's my head, okay? The rest is an avatar. Okay, do I want that to be my body? I like my body just the way it is. All your curves and all your edges. and your perfect imperfections. Okay?
It's the drug, sorry.
It's the drugs, they make me sing. I think I have Tourette's. Or it could be Java Joe's coffee. No. This is banging coffee.
By the way.
I love it. If anything, Your Honor, I am addicted to coffee. Okay?
Likewise.
Okay. So anyway,
you have to arrest the entire country because coffee is the bomb.
I told my attorney that I want one of those beer hats, but I want to put coffee cups.
Yes.
So I believe that's legal, sir. Anyway, so I don't believe I'm a superhero, and so I guess everybody.
Not in the context that they're trying to make it out like it's.
So why isn't everybody on our core team court ordered
I guess we're all
in psychological?
We're talking. But how about the thousands of people that are participating in this? Everybody should have some sort of now. What an ADA violation that is, though. What a HIPAA rights violation to accuse somebody of having a mental illness and then
because I don't know the difference between right and wrong and what's real and what's not.
I think the question itself begs to bring some light into that because that scares me. That's
well, and the question that they asked me
something so.
They said they brought the picture up of me and then the core team and they said, "Is this you?"
They wished they could fit in the costume.
And I said, "That's my head." And
That's my head.
and then I went on to explain what I just went into a dissertation about, that we dress up like superheroes to give hope.
That's right.
And blah 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 blah. And the judge said, "Scratch that from the record." I believe the question was, "Is this you?" Because they have a, forgive my language, a hot nut to make me crazy.
Yeah,
you know? So it doesn't matter if Jesus Christ himself came in there to represent me, no matter what I say, you know? So now Monday, I was supposed to have a hearing to have my alimony reinstated, and my husband has kept my children from me now for 2 weeks, again, in contempt. I have not seen them.
And that is contempt.
That is
the
contempt.
judge ignored the first contempt.
Yes, the first contempt, he threw it out.
But meanwhile, he didn't follow his court order,
right, and
which is a mandated court order, so that you can see your child.
Yes. And my
if it was domestic violence, however, they would arrest you for it.
Right. And they tried to hold me in contempt for something that I wasn't in contempt. And they put it in abeyance, which means they put it in the back burner.
That's right.
And they threw my husband's contempt out. So now I haven't seen my children for 2 weeks. So Monday I was supposed to have a hearing for contempt for not seeing or talking to my children and to get my alimony reinstated. And all of a sudden my husband has a business trip and he wants to have it continued. And now magically...
Did they say yes to that yet, though, or is it...
Well, because now his lawyer's going on vacation magically, too. So now they want to continue it for 3.5 more weeks.
Sure, because he doesn't want to pay them.
He doesn't want to pay the alimony, and he doesn't want me to have my children.
Well, if you have as many wives as he has, I wouldn't want to pay either.
No, I mean, and who knows how many other Fetherolf children there are running around the country, you know? And so that means...
What would happen if the feathers were on? I mean,
well, thank God they're off. Oh my gosh. And so now, for 3.5 more weeks, he wants to keep me without any money. So I'm paying $159 a week for a rental car because I can't get a loan because my husband does not pay his taxes. So there's a $93,000 tax lien on his credit, and since we are still married, it shows up on my credit.
Right.
I'm paying $100 every other week for my attorney. I have my cell phone. I'm paying for a storage facility because I don't have a house of my own, so I get $250 a week.
So I mean, you went from him telling you not to work, don't go to school, don't further your education, don't work, raise these children, raise my previous children, raise our mutual children. I'm going to cheat, I'm going to leave, I'm going to do all this stuff. You're going to get punished. I'm taking the children, the house, the cars, the money, and you're left flat. But you're told that you're at fault because you are not able to have a place to lay your head, basically, even though you do.
Yeah.
Thank God you do.
I do.
Thank God for good advocates and friends and some family, or that you would consider family, I guess.
Right, you guys are my family.
And that's where we are. Her situation is one of millions, as we know. You know, I wrote this book because of this horrific system. I am constantly called, emailed, contact forms, text messages, day in and day out through the night. Okay, yesterday, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, I was still getting messages about a second and a minute apart. Emergencies all over our country. Parents, mothers, and fathers, okay, that are going through this in different variations, and people are asking us for our help.
Yeah.
We are doing all we can to help you. We have devised classes to empower people, to bring fellowship to you, to make you know that there's nothing wrong with you. Above all, it's very important that people know that there's nothing wrong with them. There's nothing wrong.
It's nothing that you did wrong. There's nothing, and that's what domestic violence by proxy and narcissists do. They
and narcissistic judges.
Yes, absolutely. They flip it around to make you think that it's something you've done wrong. And there's nothing you've done wrong. And can I just say, like, I teach Vacation Bible School. I help out at my church, and you have to have your clearances to do that. So, and like you said, if I did drugs, I wouldn't be welcome in your house.
First of all, I'll tell you something right now. Okay, we're a holistic family. Mm-hmm. My sister is a expert, first of all, and she's an international best-selling author. I've seen people who are green dying stage 4 cancer, and I've seen them a month later, pink and healthy. Okay, God is my witness, and she has testimonies all the time by the people, okay, for reversing all kinds of sickness and disease, which they call incurable, and they get cured. We do not do any form of drugs or alcohol. Matter of fact, she and I, when we started talking, we found out we had the same birthday, and we believe in all the same organic, biodynamic farming and the whole thing. Now, taking care of the earth, taking care of your fellow man, and so on and so forth.
Or Christian.
Drugs are not allowed in my house, okay, on my property of any kind. And there's never been one indication. How dare a judge? How dare a judge? And then I've even gotten on the phone with, when you had the drug testing, which is so degrading.
I know.
It would be like somebody saying to me that I am a strong believer in what I believe in.
Right.
That I'm doing drugs.
Exactly.
I know. And of course your first reaction would be, how dare you belittle me, demean me, and bring me down? But that's
And how many times have you seen me drink? How many times?
Never.
Never.
Not even one time. And I don't drink at all. I drink coffee from Java Joe's and in Monroe. And we have to put this plug in. This place is amazing.
I love it.
And but I just want to say, that would not be allowed in my house.
No.
My family, it's our family home for over 50 years. It would not be allowed on the property.
Judge Judy wouldn't have it.
Judge Judy would not have it.
That's her mom.
She would. My mom is Judge Judy. She's not the Judge Judy, but Judge Judy actually got licensed from my mom. Anyway, she would not have it. She would not have it. And what we represent and what we stand for as a family.
How could I be an advocate?
I mean, I'm sorry, but
I'd be so hypocritical of me to do that when I'm fighting for families. Like, I spend my life.
First of all, to say that you're shooting up, and I look at your arms. There is nothing there.
I don't even have an arm.
I can't help but say this over and over again. How dare this judge? What a shame to the robe. But again, I see this nationwide. I court watch all over the place. I am so appalled by our injustice system. I am so disgusted. I'm so upset, and I'm so sad to see that you guys aren't as angry as you should be, because we're doing this protest on April 30th. I'm going to be in front of the family court in New York City. We have families coming out and advocates coming out in various places throughout the nation. We cannot babysit you. Do it yourself. Get out. Get in front of a family court in your town, anywhere in this nation. Get in front of a CPS, Child Predator Services, and show your support for one another. Because if you think this can't happen to you, you're not drug addicts or alcoholics or have criminal backgrounds. I have an immaculate background. I kicked judicial butt because I'm an advocate, a whistleblower. I was retaliated, however, and I won, and I won't stop winning. It's about your determination, too.
Exactly.
It's about what you're going to do with
and I'm
what
not going to
they've done
stop.
to
You know, the 8 months that I didn't see my sons, I think my husband thought, because it is a proven fact that narcissists try to get you to kill yourself. And if you go through my court files, it has been his MO to say that I'm suicidal. I was in the hospital because I suffer from severe migraines, and my mom actually had to take me to the hospital. I think it was not this past January, but the January before that. I had such a bad migraine that when I stand up, I see black and like squiggly lines and stuff, and I couldn't even stand up. My mom had to take me to the hospital, and this has happened actually during my marriage. Well, I'm still married, but you know what I mean. Like when we were together, they had to hook me up to an IV, and they put like it's Benadryl and something else, and they actually knocked me out. And I have to stay there until it subsides, and I can't drive. My mom had to drive me home. Well, Dan took that and ran with it. Oh, she tried to kill herself. Oh. No, I had a migraine.
Nothing on the documentation that says that at all.
No, and
I want to talk about the suicide thing, too.
Yeah.
I want to talk about, there's two things I want to talk about. I want to talk about, first of all, you feeling demeaned. Because an abuser wants to bring your self-esteem down. Okay, and that's what we do from Punish for Protecting. We build you back up. Fellowship is very important, and that's one of the main things. Once you're built back up again and they can't knock you down and make you less than what you are and what God created you to be on this earth.
Know your worth.
Know your worth, and that's one of the main things in advocacy. Second is suicide. Listen, if people think about suicide, you're not a horrible person. When they put you through this kind of hell, they take everything away from you, but above all, your children.
Yeah,
and like, as
you
mothers,
gave birth to?
or fathers, like, I know that my eyes never left my child. Like, you know, when they're in the car and you're looking in the rear view and you just can't get your eyes off of them.
And my sons were never out of my sight.
Right, and then they take that child away. When you're the one that's consciously saying, is he going to try to eat something? Is he, going to try to run out the side door?
And then you're getting
text
messages saying, I guarantee you. What did he say? I guarantee you that you're going to lose all custody and you're never going to see your sons again.
Yeah, I mean, all this horrible abuse.
All this horrible and constant. Do I really want to kill myself? No. Do I feel...
Well, what I was going to say is I know that these parents feel like, why am I here sometimes?
Right, like, God, why
but these are normal questions, and there's always help out there for you, and you need to continue to live another day because these situations do turn around. They will continue to turn around because we are fighting in mass armies at this point.
And that's why God put us through it, because He picks
for
us
him
strong.
to say that to you, like, first of all, there's not a judge on the planet, I'm going to tell you this for sure, that could go through an eighth of what most of us have gone through, and they would kill themselves. Because number one, they really are substance abusers because their consciences are so seared. They really are substance abusers because they can't deal with the fact that they've done such very unconscionable things to people.
I know.
Okay? So they could never go through what we've been through and what you guys are going through. But never let them demean you and never let them bring you down. Always know your worth and always know your power.
And know it's going to get better, And like I was saying, like the 8 months that I didn't see my boys, I could have crawled in a hole and, I'm going to say
it is depressing.
It is depressing. There were days that I didn't want to get out of bed because I thought, well, why should I? What do I have to get up for? My boys aren't here.
And there's nothing wrong with that
because I needed it.
Again, the judge should be ashamed of himself for doing this.
He doesn't care. Oh, you're a loser. Go get a job. I'm sorry. I don't have my boys. I don't have a car. I miss my sons incredibly much. I can't talk to them.
And they miss you. Oh my God.
Yeah, they miss. My son told me, Mama, I prayed for you every single day. He says, I want to get back with you. I want to live with you.
And the reason they don't want people on Facebook or on social media is because they don't want to be seen for what they are.
Exactly.
So you have to be on social media and you have to be public about this and vocal and you have to do it because it's first of all it's your First Amendment right, freedom of speech, and they don't want to be seen.
Exactly.
Things that are hidden in darkness want to stay in darkness.
Exactly, because they don't want you to know what they're doing. Of
course,
and that's what gave me the hunger and the strength and the fight to want to get up. And that's I met Fran in August of last year, and that's what you guys need to do. I started studying the law, I started studying the amendments, the Constitution, and I started advocate, educate, get up off your feet and, don't play. I mean, it's easier said than done, to feel like the victim, because you are a victim, but don't let them victimize you. Right. Don't let them do this to you. Don't let them get to you, because that's what they're trying to do. Right. Don't let them take you down. Get up, get strong, and get fighting. Sign up for our classes, look for them, and we're here to help you. We're not going to do it for you, because if there's so many of you reaching out to us for help, and believe you me, if we could help you all, we would. But it's
easier for us to help you in a broader spectrum, whereby we're doing the classes. We're going to be the classes are going to be twice a week. Every week is what we're trying to get to. With 4 instructors to start out. We will be increasing instructors, and we'll have backup instructors as we're starting to build this back up again with Zoom classes.
Yep.
And I want to let you guys know, if you go to the website, we need you to register because we have to know who is coming into those classes.
Yes, we need to know ahead of time. And if you want to register for the class, please don't send me a friend request.
Right.
Message me first, because I screen
everybody screens.
Yes, everybody screens, and because I am in litigation, I need to be very careful who is friend requesting me, and so does Fran, because in the industry that we're in, we need to protect ourselves.
And we're protecting you in the same time.
Exactly.
Like getting in who we are having everyone register through Zoom, which sends us an email so we know who you are, to verify who you are. for these classes.
That's right, because some people that are in litigation that are in our class, we want to make sure that there's nobody in there. We've already had people that were concerned that the opposing party was in the class.
Exactly.
And we don't want to.
There's
we don't want that for you.
There's that, and then as you've seen, there's a couple of Fruit Loops from Canada through America that are Fruit Loops, and we don't want them involved in our classes.
We don't need
either,
Fruit Loops.
because there's reasons that they're Fruit
We
Loops.
like Lucky Charms.
And we like, well, it's genetically
It's
modified.
magically delicious.
Genetically modified.
We have organic.
Okay, so now let's go to Punish for Protecting the Injustice System of Family Court. I know a lot of people are asking how to get this. Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, and many bookstores are carrying this now, and libraries as well.
Libraries, yeah.
But you can go to the website at www.punishedbeingaaparent.com and register in the events section for the Zoom classes. And we thank you for joining us today at Java Joe's Coffee Shop in Monroe, New York. And maybe she wants to span out and just show this awesome place.
It's so cool.
It's really great. Nice little cafe section.
And gift
They've
shop.
got a great gift shop down here. Here, let's take a walk down. You've got,
We have lots of sparkles.
it's a family-owned and operated establishment. This is Jordan.
Barista.
All right. And you can see there's some nice, yummy stuff here. Look at this.
Show them the sparkles. I love the sparkles.
We're gonna do taste testing later. And they've got food and stuff as well. And then look at this great place. I mean, this is just, we are crazy in here. We've got just beautiful jewelry and stuff. So you guys can come on down when you're in the area. We're gonna be here a couple times a month doing coffee talk with Francesca and Corinne, and talk about all the family issues that are happening in family court and CPS and foster care and forced adoption. So God bless you guys, and thank you for joining us.
Don't give up the fight. Thank you.